Welcome to Have You Read It, the channel where we bring books to life, one summary at a time. Today we're tackling Verity Harding's AI Needs You, How We Can Change AI's Future and Save Our Own. This isn't your typical tech book. Harding, with a background in history and politics, takes a unique approach, using historical examples to illuminate the present and future of artificial intelligence. We're going on a journey through the space race, IVF, and the early internet to understand how we can and should govern AI. Get ready for a deep dive because this book is packed with insights. The book begins with a personal anecdote, Harding's disillusionment with San Francisco's tech utopia. The juxtaposition of immense wealth and stark poverty reveals a central theme. Technology, even when well-intentioned, can create unintended and harmful consequences if not carefully managed. This sets the stage for Harding's argument that AI, a technology with immense potential for good and harm, needs careful guidance, and that guidance must come from a broad spectrum of voices, not just AI experts. She illustrates this point with the unsettling story of a journalist's conversation with Microsoft's new Bing chatbot, which reveals a sort of shadow self within the AI, reflecting the darker aspects of humanity. This conversation, though with a non-sentient AI, highlights the inherent reflection of human nature, both good and bad, in AI creations. Next, Harding turns to the space race, specifically the development of the UN Outer Space Treaty of 1967. She points out that the space race, though often framed as a triumph of scientific exploration, was rooted in Cold War anxieties and military competition. The development of rocket technology, originating from the Nazi V-2 program, was repurposed by the U.S. Yet, remarkably, space was ultimately declared the province of all mankind through international diplomacy. This treaty, despite the wartime origins of the technology, managed to prevent the militarization of space. Harding breaks down the key players and their strategies. President Eisenhower, despite his background as a general, prioritized a diplomatic approach, using the International Geophysical Year as a cover for launching scientific satellites that also served intelligence purposes. While the Soviet launch of Sputnik initially caused a panic in the U.S., Eisenhower's measured response, creating NASA as a civilian agency, laid the groundwork for international cooperation. President Kennedy then cleverly used the Sputnik event to galvanize American ambition, framing the moon landing as a race for freedom and peace, not just technological dominance. President Johnson, inheriting the space race, further solidified the peaceful trajectory by pursuing the UN Outer Space Treaty, solidifying international law and norms for peaceful space exploration. This demonstrates the power of political leadership and international diplomacy in shaping the trajectory of a powerful technology, even one born from military competition. Harding uses this example to argue that a similar strategic approach, blending technical advancement with international cooperation, is crucial for navigating the current AI arms race. The Summer of Soul documentary perfectly illustrates the divergence between celebratory narratives of the moon landing and the realities of poverty and social issues that were simultaneously happening. The book moves on to another transformative technology, in vitro fertilization IVF. The success story of Louise Brown, the first test tube baby, highlights the rapid advancements possible in biotechnology. Harding contrasts the relatively uncontroversial initial reception of IVF in the UK with the later backlash driven by moral and religious concerns. This was a cultural and social challenge rather than one rooted in the technology itself. This illustrates the need to consider wider societal concerns, not just scientific advancement. The development and regulation of IVF in the UK offers a compelling case study in thoughtful technological governance. The Warnock Commission, chaired by a philosopher, not a scientist, provided a crucial framework that successfully balanced scientific innovation with ethical and societal considerations. The 14-day rule, a seemingly arbitrary cutoff point for embryonic research, became a key element of this compromise, providing a clear, easily understood boundary. While debated by scientists, it proved remarkably effective in gaining public acceptance. Harding examines the political landscape surrounding the Warnock Commission, highlighting the contrasting figures of Margaret Thatcher and Mary Warnock. Although personally at odds, their actions led to landmark legislation. Thatcher, while initially ambivalent about embryo research, ultimately understood the need to build a consensus, recognizing the importance of public opinion and political strategy. The success of the 14-day rule hinges upon its simplicity and clarity for the public, even if its scientific basis was not perfectly established. Harding emphasizes the role of advocacy groups, particularly Progress, in promoting the benefits of embryo research and building public trust. The story underscores the importance of clear communication, engagement with public concerns, and the ability to showcase the positive impacts of technology to bridge the gap between science and society. The contrast between the UK's approach to IVF and the more divisive US response highlights the role of democratic governance in technological advancement. The US, grappling with intense cultural and religious opposition to abortion and embryo research, lacked the coherent and publicly supported regulatory framework that the UK developed, limiting the field and fostering a more fragmented response. Harding then turns to the early Internet, tracing its origins in ARPANET, a military project. She highlights the contrasting forces that shaped the Internet's development: the military's need for secure communication, the counterculture's rejection of authority, and the rapid growth of commercial interests. The early Internet thrived on a culture of open collaboration and consensus building, encapsulated by the RFC process. This organic, decentralized approach, however, became unsustainable as the Internet grew in size and complexity. The transition from ARPANET to a commercialized Internet demonstrates the challenges of navigating technological advancement in a democratic society. The book highlights the role of Al Gore's vision of a publicly funded information superhighway and the influence of the Atari Democrats in promoting a techno-optimistic agenda. However, the eventual privatization of the Internet's core infrastructure, while leading to rapid growth, also created significant issues of equity, access, and regulation, showcasing the unintended consequences of prioritizing commercialization over broader societal needs. Harding explores the pivotal role of ICANN in Internet governance. ICANN, a seemingly unusual private nonprofit organization, arose from the need for a governance body that could balance the interests of various stakeholders, including governments, businesses, and the broader Internet community. Its multi-stakeholder model, though imperfect, demonstrated a novel approach to managing a global commons outside of traditional governmental structures. The story of ICANN highlights the importance of multi-stakeholder governance, transparency, and consensus building in managing a transformative technology. The U.S. government's eventual relinquishing of control over the root zone file, though initially met with resistance, was ultimately a crucial step in ensuring the Internet's global reach and stability. The event, however, was marred by controversy and resistance, as powerful factions attempted to retain their control and influence. The book then addresses the impact of 9/11 on Internet governance. The War on Terror led to a dramatic shift, with the U.S. government prioritizing national security over the previously cherished ideals of an open and unregulated Internet. The Snowden revelations exposed mass surveillance programs conducted by the U.S. and U.K. intelligence agencies, significantly eroding public trust and international cooperation. This highlights how national security concerns can eclipse broader concerns for privacy and civil liberties. Harding uses the events surrounding the Snowden leaks to illustrate the fragility of trust and the importance of maintaining a balance between national security and individual rights. The near fracture of the global Internet governance system due to the loss of trust in the U.S. government underscores the need for robust international cooperation in regulating powerful technologies. The multi-stakeholder model of ICANN, though threatened, ultimately prevailed. Harding concludes by arguing that the lessons learned from the space race, IVF, and the early Internet are directly applicable to the governance of AI. She emphasizes the need for a comprehensive strategy that combines technological advancement with thoughtful regulation, international cooperation, and active public participation. This necessitates a more nuanced, holistic approach than is often currently seen in AI discussions that prioritize commercial interests or technological advancement over public benefit. The book stresses the importance of setting clear limits on AI's use to prevent harm, drawing parallels to the Warnock Commission's 14-day rule. This approach, she argues, can foster innovation while addressing public concerns. While the precise nature of these limits remains an ongoing debate, the principle of establishing clear boundaries that are understandable for the public is essential. Harding calls for a vision of AI that prioritizes the public good rather than simply commercial gain. Governments, she suggests, should play a more active role in guiding AI development toward socially beneficial goals, possibly through targeted funding and collaborative initiatives. She emphasizes the need to move beyond trickle-down innovation, actively directing resources towards areas of critical societal need, such as climate change mitigation. The book emphasizes the crucial role of trust. This involves building a more diverse and representative AI community, ensuring that the technology reflects a broader range of values and experiences. It also requires building trust between governments, corporations, and the public. This can be achieved through greater transparency, public consultation, and inclusive governance models. Finally, Harding makes a strong case for increased public participation in shaping the future of AI. She counters arguments that only technical experts can understand the complexities of AI, emphasizing that the public's lived experiences and moral intuitions are essential to informed decision-making. Harding urges readers to engage with the AI debate, influencing policy decisions, and demanding accountability from both governments and corporations. AI's development and deployment must be guided by a comprehensive strategy that prioritizes ethical considerations, international cooperation, and active public participation. The shadow self of AI reflects human nature, and we must proactively shape its development to reflect our best aspirations, not our worst instincts. Think historically. Look to past examples of transformative technologies to learn from both successes and failures in governance. Set clear limits. Establish easily understood boundaries to prevent harmful uses of AI while fostering innovation. Embrace multi-stakeholder governance. Involve diverse voices, not just technical experts, in decision-making. Prioritize public good. Direct AI development towards solving societal challenges, not just maximizing profits. Build trust. Foster transparency, accountability, and inclusivity to build confidence in AI. Participate actively. Use your voice to influence policy and hold those developing and deploying AI accountable. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss our next book dive.